practice test is that we dissected. You know, as a group, we got together, we had workshops, and we dissect the questions, so we knew how they got to that answer, not remembering that, okay, I need to know that there are 7 calories per protein, right, gram, and there are 4 per alcohol, right? We knew that information, but we had to figure out exactly how they were getting to that answer. So as a group, and as we get more people, we understand the certifications they're going for, we can put together workshops. Part of the newsletter, if you get a chance to read it, I talk about once we know your destination, we can help with resources. We can help with pairing you with somebody to have a partner to go with and kind of bounce ideas off of. We can do workshops. We can give resource information that we have built up through several of us taking the test to help you out. You know, we can do our part to support that initiative, but it all starts with those first 3 courses. Getting past those first 3 courses and the cost structure that's built into that. Once you get past that, it's an 85% completion rate. Okay?
We can really help with the first 3 courses.
Yeah.
We have some resources and some time available for those people that are interested. We can get the list of names, start to put together a study group, find out what the designation is, and go get the information that's applicable to what they're pursuing. We have
copies of the refresher nutrition and the supervisor that I had to do to get ready for the CEC. And as I get stuff, we collect it and we try to compile it as a group. So when somebody says, I'm going for my CCC, I'm about to take my nutrition course, well, here's all the information we have on that nutrition test, okay? From 123.com, from certification.com, yeah, we have information that will help get to that level and help you be ready for it, because all you can do is prepare. You know, it's an old saying, luck favors the prepared mind, right? You know, so I would say that the more information you have, the more support you have, the easier it's going to be for you. You know, I took my CCC blindly, like Chef Ernest, away from anybody. I just did it on my own, and I struggled with completing those courses at first. But once I got that out of the way and I invested myself into it, it was gung-ho. I passed my practical, I took my written passed my written, I took my practical right behind it, and I got certified. You know, 5 years later, I'm now going for my next one. You know, so it is timely investment. I think I've said it for several meetings before that the job I have now, I probably would not have it if it wasn't for my certification. Okay, my interview went great. My demo struggled a little bit due to the area I was in, but it was the certification and the chef behind me, Chef Stephen Parallel, who knew what that certification meant. Okay, and having Chef Willie talk me up didn't hurt either. All right, so thank you all.
any other questions.
Chef, I'd like to just piggyback on one thing. I mean, because what I'd like you to do is just kind of recap, like, just quickly, application would be one of the first steps, right? And then develop your timeline, look at your possibility of CEUs. And so when you talk about the CEU points, you talked about competitions. Also, when you attend the ACF chapter meetings, those are worth
Conventions.
the conventions, whether it's regional or national. When you become a member of the ACF, you get a subscription to Culinary Review. If you read the Culinary Review, and if you fill out the questions in the back of the magazine and send that in, you get points for it.
4 continuing education hours, just to pick up the magazine, read your story, take the quiz at the back of it, and send it in.
Send that in.
There's 4 continuing education hours right there. The Culinary Review, and it's free. You go online to our website, the National Chapter, ACF, you can subscribe to the Culinary Review, and you'll get it monthly.
Not only that, but work history. I got a lot of my continuing education hours for my what I'm going for now through work. I got 46 continuing education hours through work. And that's training, any training class that you attend, any sanitation, anything that you do for work as a part of continuing education. It doesn't have to just be culinary. Continuing education, every time I take a responsible gaming class, Every time that we go through our corporate initiatives, that is considered continuing education. Yes, sir.
One thing I'd like to point out too that not too many people are familiar with, but most people take their practical first, right? I guess is the normal procedure, but you only have 1 year within to take your written exam. However, if you take your written exam, you have within 2 years to take your practical.
Yeah, that's
So
why I've
depending
always-
on what is your strength and weaknesses, that's how you want to pursue your.
That's how I always done it because of that same reason. I've always took my written first, and then I take my practical. And also too, written, I believe in, I'm pretty sure other people going forward will back me up on this. Written is probably the harder of the two. We all cook. We cook every day. Cooking in the environment that you will be in when you take your practical, I mean, when you got 5 judges standing over you watching every move, it becomes intense. I don't have that at work, right? When I'm working, I'm gauged on production, as Follow well knows. We're gauged on making sure that we're producing for the numbers we're going to do that day, or that week, or the next 2 days. But the written exam, once again, it's blindly. You're really not sure which angle they're going to attack you at. Are they going to go heavy French on you? Are they going to go regional cuisine? Are they going to go classical, right? They're going to ask marketing questions, pest control questions, right? Plumbing. There's a lot of different angles that we deal with on our regular, as a leader from any supervisory level, you deal with more than just putting food on a plate, right? You got a staff that does that for you. You handle the logistics of running a business, and they ask you questions. What is your pro forma, right? What is a business plan? What is a profit chain? These are things that you need to know. And one of the things that really threw me when I took my written exam was how many milk questions they were. Ultra-pasteurization, how long can you keep a pastry-filled dairy product, right? These are things that if you don't know exactly which angle they're going to attack you at, it can throw you for a loop. You have, 2 hours to take that test, so you got a lot of time, but you start stumbling, that time goes very quickly on you. That's why I think practical should be your last step, because it is easier of the two, and the timing, like Chef said, timing is you get 2 years on your written, and only get 1 year on your practical, so it only makes sense to go for your written first. But yeah, I fully agree. That's how I've always done it, and that's how I suggest to do it. Once you get past that written, it should be pretty square. Even if you don't pass your first written practical, because I didn't pass my first practical as a CCC.
Or written for that matter.
I passed my first written, I just didn't pass my first practical.
Yeah, but I'm saying a lot of people take the written and you don't pass it. I actually took the written in Las Vegas several years ago. Didn't study for it. I just wanted to take the test to see
Which angle?
where I fit, where I come in at. And I missed it by like 1 point. But that wasn't anything that slowed my process down, for that matter, towards being for certification. But I will say this, Chef Ernest mentioned that he started in '73. And I've been a part of the ACF for a long time. For many, many years, the ACF truly did not have a true pathway for certification. So back in the days when he's talking, and even further back, even during the 80s, to become certified as an executive chef, if I knew Chef Doug and he was a certified executive chef and we were friends, they had a document that they would fill out and say, Chef Steve knows how to saute and how to make a foie gras or whatever. It was just kind of the good old boy system. And it was like that. It wasn't until really recently, in the last, I'm going to say probably the early 90s, truly when they started looking at, okay, we really have to make certification a process. And so now we're at that point where you truly do have to know your craft. And it is funny because he mentioned that I brought my certification packet from 1995. And it's totally different than today. So most of the stuff that I have in here, because when I was going for my certification in '95, I was an executive chef at a yacht club or somewhere. I forget where I was. I think I was at River Terrace Yacht Club over here. And since then, I mean, I'm a culinary instructor. So now I won't even be going for certified executive chef. I will be certified culinary educator. And they didn't even have that designation back in the day. So a lot of things have changed, but you know, the one key thing is that what you guys have to keep in mind is that you have to look at investing in yourself, right? Because if you're looking to get some worth or some self-worth, it's about what you do, right? And so a lot of times it's really hard for a lot of people to get from behind the 8 ball because they're looking at, well, it's going to cost me, you know, $335. This is just for starters. If you have to take courses for nutrition, management, and sanitation, and whatever else, even the $50 written test, practice test that you can buy, you got to look at, okay, I need to spend this $50 just to see exactly, you know, what this test is going to be like. And Chef Carol, she's got her certification, so we don't want to leave her out. But you know, it's really it's a tough process, but it's well worth it. I will say this for I have 2 of my current students, 4 of my current students are here, I believe, and so 5 with Beverly, she's hotel. But we just went through our accreditation process for Southwest, and the ACF came in and looked at our curriculum, looked at our facilities, and thank goodness, we actually did very well. They were very impressed with the amount of support that as a school, my culinary program, we got from the culinary ACF, our local chapter here, and they were very impressed with how visible we were in our communities as far as working with the different charities that we work with every year. So the one thing, I talked to the corporate ACF last week, and the ACF-EF commission is meeting. They met yesterday and today. So I'll be able to call them on the 22nd, and they're going to give me a verbal confirmation as to whether we got the accreditation or not. I don't think there's a doubt in my mind that we're not getting it. We just finished a process where a couple of things we were in non-compliance. We had to renovate our kitchen, lower some walls, but that was the only area of non-compliance truly that we had. And so I went to work today and looked at the kitchen. The guys were finishing up with the paint, so we're in good shape. So I expect to have good news when I call them on the 22nd. So what that would mean for my current students for this semester and the ones who graduate in the spring, they're going to grandfather those students in. You will automatically have the designation of certified culinary. So you won't even have to go through this whole practical, written, and practical test because you're in school. If you are members of the ACF, if you're not, and you graduate, then you're going to have to start from scratch. So I just want you guys to kind of understand what that means, right? So very important. I mean, it has something like this been around really when we were younger. We'd be in much better shape, but you know, it's a sign of the times. But very important, and you know, we're really serious about kind of cherry picking and cakewalking people through. You know, as much help as we can give you, we're all willing to do that. And because you know, we've been looking at, you know, for people to do practice runs for their practice. Okay, you might want to work on a certain part of your practical exam. And if you work it out with me, you can come by the culinary arts lab and you can use a kitchen so you can get into that mindset. You know, not doing it at home, you need to do it in a professional commercial kitchen so that you get used to, okay, I need to go find where things are and get used to doing that. And we're all going to kind of do it in each other's kitchen so that everybody, I mean, I'm used to my kitchen, I know where things are, but if I go to his kitchen, I know I have to walk 2 or 3 different places. So you just kind of keep that in mind. Yeah.
You know, my run, I invited Chef Ernest to come watch me go through my run so I can get a second eye on it. And I went through mine like 6 times. And I still had minor tweaks that will help me out in the long run on it. So, I mean, we're all here to support. If you're interested and you're dedicated to it, we're here to support you for it.
And hopefully this year, 2015, we'll be able to do a lot more. Our next meeting, some of the meetings to come, we'll actually have hands-on demonstrations of some of the things that are going to be needed. They need to see fabrication of his chicken, fabrication of the lobster. We'll actually get in classroom style, lab style, I should say, and just do these things and show you based on my experience, based on his experience, Chef Carolyn's gone down that road as well, so we'll do all that we can do in 2015 to help anybody who is interested get well on their way. I gotta say one last thing before I move on, and that was Chef Doug, Chef Julian saying that what worked best for them in terms of whether it's the practical first before the written. I did it the total opposite. And that was the pressure that I had put on myself once I decided to make the commitment and invest in myself. I didn't care about time or anything else. I wanted to get through the process. However, it could have been detrimental too. I could have been still messing with it. But you do want to think about where you are, and it's important that you look at the designation. A lot of people like to reach for the stars, but that stuff that he was talking about with the pasteurization and all of that, that comes from experience and or being in the industry and around these things. That was what experience and the longevity of it in the industry is what got me through, because that practical test that I looked at and I went through, I paid my money for it. And I'm talking about $200 or $300 I paid to study these pre-tests, what do they call them? When I got to the real test, only 25% of what was on the real test was on the practical test. So that means 75% of what I had been practicing on wasn't even in front of me. And then the 25% that was there was reworded in such a way where if I didn't read, and you got the book, the brown one, I've got several, I'll bring it next time.
Art Science of
Culinary Arts. Culinary Arts. And this is kind of what the test, it comes out of that book. But it is, those practical tests are designed to make you go read. Because it was easy for me to remember, I memorize the A, B, and C. It's multiple choice. I could remember it, you know. But when I saw that question again, it had been turned and twisted so much that if I didn't do some reading 2 pages before and 2 pages after, then I still didn't know the answer. So it's important that we identify the designation that we truly qualify rather than getting in over our head, because past experience and longevity is going to be essential to the success. And also, we're going to bring a book. And then, if you will, for those who are interested, before we leave, if we can get a list and we can start putting together some sort of workshop at one of our facilities and structure some